Ecclesiastes
Cast that bread
11
upon the waters.
from verse 1.
Cast that bread upon the waters. For thou shalt find it after many days.
One more time.
Cast that bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days.
Cast thy bread. The word is saying, ship your bread, your grain across the sea. And after many days, you may receive a return. The second verse.
Give a portion to 7, and also to 8. For thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth.
Okay, so don't send just one shipment. Not 2. Not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm a Celestian. 7 is not enough. No, not 7. 8. Send 8 shipments. Because you don't know what evil, what tragedy, what disaster might fall upon the earth. The next verse.
If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall towards the south or towards the north, and the place where the tree falleth, there it should be.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say a good roof will last you somewhere in between 25 and 50 years. And that sounds good, especially if you're a new homeowner. But for those of us who are renting or live in a house that was previously owned, we know that that home is subject to the elements. Those cars parked outside, made of strong and durable steel, will eventually be exposed to air, then oxidize, and then rust. And I don't care if you build the most magnificent, tall skyscraper to grace the face of the earth. I guarantee you, give it 100 years, 200, without proper maintenance, the materials used to erect that building will be consumed back into the earth. Rain falls down into the earth, it nourishes the ground, and a tree will sprout up. That tree will provide fruit and food and shelter for other life forms. But eventually, that tree might fall. It might be termites or lightning, or maybe it's just the sheer pressure of hosting other life forms for generations and generations. Regardless of how it happens, it might fall. And when it does, that tree will scatter its contents, its seeds, its fruit. And the process, that cycle, will continue. Nature will continue to nature. And no matter how much we try to augment or diminish that process, there's not much we can do about it. The next verse.
He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap.
So you can't expect a big, bountiful harvest if you're just spending most of your time in the field just watching the clouds float by, instead of planting your seed and tending to the ground. The next verse.
As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the work of God who maketh all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we say it all the time. The ways of God are mysterious. No one knows his plan. And as much as we might have a good idea, no one knows what tomorrow will bring. So therefore, in verse 6, thank you, I think I got it from here. It says in verse 6, in the morning, sow thy seed, and in the evening, withhold not thine hand. In the night, don't let your hands be idle. For thou knowest not whether shall prosper, either this or that, whether they both shall be alike good. So of all the shipments that we sent out back in verse 2, those ventures, those investments, we can't be sure if all of them will succeed or fail. Or maybe one or two will be prosperous and the others fail, or maybe vice versa. We just don't know. We are tasked with planting the seed and tending the ground so that one day we might reap a bountiful fruitful harvest. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, I want to speak to you today about investing in your salvation. But what does that mean? And why do it in the first place? Well, my teacher says in Matthew 6:19, lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moths and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. You know, mansions are nice. Gucci and Saint Laurent, they're nice too. And Mercedes-Benz. A Mercedes-Benz is nice. And I've had the opportunity to drive some. I've also crashed and totaled one. Sorry, Dad. But that's just my point. It would be a shame to attain all the riches and wealth on earth that are perishable and vulnerable to theft, or being wrapped around the trunk of a tree after skidding on black ice during freezing rain. Dad, I'm so sorry. I know that car was your baby. But my point is this. I don't want to have $3 million mansions on earth and be a pauper in heaven. So how do we invest in our eternity? I think my teacher might have some tips for us. He says in Matthew 25, verse 35, for I was hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in, naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee? Or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of these the least of my brethren, ye have done it unto me. How many times have you been on your way to work or school or church and you saw someone in need? It might be a couple of dollars that they need, or some clothes, or maybe a hot meal. Or maybe they just need an ear to listen to. Or someone that you know is sick or down in the dumps, depressed. It doesn't take much to just pick up your phone and say, hey, how are you? You're on my mind. Caring for one another, and even further, doing something for someone who cannot return the favor, is a solid method of filling your storehouse in heaven. Luke 14 from verse 12 says, then said he also to him that bade him, when thou makest a dinner or a supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, thy kinsmen, nor thy rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and recompense be made thee. When you have your cookout, don't invite your brothers and your sisters, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, or the Kardashians who are staying in the Airbnb down the street. Because they will invite you over again and basically repay you what you did for them. But in verse 13, it says, when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the crippled, the lame, and the blind, and thou shalt be blessed. For they cannot recompense thee. They can't pay you back. For thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. And when one of them sat at meat with him, heard these things, and he said unto him, blessed is he that shall eat bread in the kingdom of God. When you help those who can't help themselves, you are rewarded in heaven. I can think of one other way you can invest into your salvation, but this method, it requires some self-assessment. Matthew 25 from verse 14 reads, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents," let's call them coins, "and to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. And he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. And he that received 1 went and digged into the earth and hid his Lord's money. And after a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And he said, and so he that had received 5 talents came and brought over the 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents, and behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. Basically, he said, hey, boss, you gave me 5 coins, and because of my diligence, I was able to bring you 5 more. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant, thou hast been faithful over a few things, and I will make ye a ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. Boss, you gave me 2. I did what I could do. I got 2 more. Here they are. His Lord said, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler of many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee, thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. And lo, there thou hast is thine. Basically saying, sir, you're a very intimidating man. I know you gave me this coin. I didn't want to lose it. So I put it here in the ground so no one can take it. And what did he say? His Lord answered and said, thou wicked and slothful servant, you wicked and lazy servant. Thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine with mine own usury. Basically saying, that coin that I gave you, you should have took to the bank. That way it would have incurred, it would have had interest that I could use. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You unuseful, unprofitable servant, what use do you have to me? Go into the darkness. The message is clear. And if it's not, let me break it down further. Assess yourself. What gift or talent has the Lord blessed you with? Maybe you have more money than you need. Or maybe you don't. It's not just about money. You might be a mentor, someone who is prone to encouraging and helping others develop. Or maybe you're a physician, and you can help others by providing them with tips to help them live a healthy and enriching lifestyle. Or maybe you're a brilliant project manager, and when someone needs something done, you might be able to help them develop a plan of action and execute. Or maybe you're a programmer, And you can develop a tool that will cut down a process that takes people hours into minutes. Or maybe you're just connected. Somebody needs a part for a car that is broken and they need to be on the other side of the state by tomorrow. But they can't order that part because it's Christmas Eve. But you know someone who knows someone who might know someone. Whatever that skill or ability is, use it to edify and enhance the lives of those around you so that you may also enter into the joy of the Lord. But you also have to see yourself as an investment. As God has bestowed you with your gift, your talent, your skill, your ability, He also expects a return on that investment. He says in the second lesson, but he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, understandeth it, and which also beareth fruit, bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. But while the men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares. What are tares? Tares are weeds among the wheat, and he went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared these tares, these weeds also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, this not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence cometh these tares? Just the other day, sir, I saw you plant these seeds. Where are these weeds coming from? He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then we go and gather them up? But he said, nay. Lest while ye gather up the tares, these weeds, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together the first of the tares, these weeds, bind them in bundles and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Ladies and gentlemen, the enemy was busy in the night, and he has planted weeds in God's field. Weeds they're an undesirable plant. They're useless. Imagine if you had a garden and you planted tomatoes, carrots, and lettuce for you and your family to enjoy in a salad or a sandwich. But after all your hard work of tilling, tending, and watering the ground, all you found was weeds. They have absorbed all the water, the space, and nutrients for the plants that would in turn give you nourishment. Don't be a weed. Don't take, and take. Ladies and gentlemen, a good financial advisor would tell you if you wanted to invest into your future, the best time to start is now. So starting today, I encourage you to help those around you that need it. Do things for those who can't do for themselves. And exercise your talents and skills in a manner that enriches the lives around you, so that on the day of harvest, you too will be gathered into his holy barn. May God bless his holy word.